Welcome to AI News in 10, your top AI and tech news podcast in about 10 minutes. AI tech is amazing and is changing the world fast. For example, this entire podcast is curated and generated by AI using my and my kids' cloned voices. It's Friday, March 13th, 2026. Here's what's moving in AI and tech today. A big broadband shakeup that could create a new independent internet giant in the US. A surprise leadership transition at Adobe after nearly 2 decades. Fresh reporting that Meta's next frontier AI model needs more time. A major cyberattack tied to Iran that's slowing a US medtech leader. And a notable new skill for Anthropic's Claude, automatic charts and diagrams built right into the chat. But first, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Need elite developers fast? Elite Coders connects you with rigorously vetted senior engineers in 24 to 48 hours. Staff augmentation, dedicated teams, or full project delivery, we've got you covered. Visit elitecoders.co to get started today.
Now let's dive into today's stories. Let's start with the broadband blockbuster. GFiber, formerly Google Fiber, plans to combine with Astound Broadband. Under the deal, infrastructure investor Stonepeak would become the majority owner, while Alphabet keeps a significant minority stake. The combined business would be led by GFiber's current executive team and aims to become a leading independent fiber provider, pairing GFiber's growth markets with Astound's established footprint. Closing is targeted for the fourth quarter of 2026, pending regulatory approvals. That ownership split matters. Alphabet keeps skin in the game, while Stonepeak brings capital to accelerate build-outs. GFiber is framing this as the next phase of getting more communities onto multi-gig fiber, without sacrificing its customer-first playbook. Zooming out, it's a tidy way for Alphabet to scale fiber without taking on the full burden of capital expenditures, while Stonepeak consolidates a bigger independent challenger to cable incumbents. Local reporting underscores the regional angle. Astound's roots and existing markets could help the new entity compete nationally. Watch for integration milestones and, critically, whether combined scale brings faster deployments and better upload speeds in markets that have lagged. Onto leadership. Adobe's longtime CEO, Shantanu Narayan, says he'll step down after a successor is named, moving into a transition while the board runs the search. In an internal note, Narayan, who has led since 2007, called this the next era of creativity, shaped by AI and new workflows. Market reaction was swift, with European outlets flagging a sharp sell-off as investors digested both the transition and intensifying AI competition. For context, Adobe emphasized double-digit revenue growth in its latest quarter and recurring revenue north of $26 billion on an annualized basis. But the company is racing to ship compelling AI across Creative Cloud and Experience Cloud, while fending off tougher rivals. The strategic question is simple. How fast can Adobe turn generative and agentic AI into daily tools customers can't live without, and price for that value, while maintaining trust around training data and outputs? Leadership changes can either unlock decision speed or slow a roadmap. Watch the next earnings checkpoint for signals on free-to-paid conversion of AI features, usage growth in Firefly-powered workflows, and margins in the content safety pipeline. Story 3. Meta's next frontier model may be slipping. Multiple outlets point to fresh reporting that Avocado, the company's planned high-end AI system, won't arrive this month after all, and may be pushed to May or later. The issue reportedly isn't branding, it's performance. Internal testing hasn't matched Google's latest Gemini tier, and one scenario raised in reporting even floated temporarily licensing a rival model to bridge gaps. That would be a remarkable twist for a company spending tens of billions on AI infrastructure. We've also heard months of chatter that Avocado could mark a pivot from Meta's open-source Llama cadence to a more proprietary approach at the top end. Put together, this suggests Meta is racing both the clock and the leaderboard. If that timeline holds, the stakes are high. Meta has seeded AI across Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and it's pitching AI for Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses and creators. But to truly reset perceptions versus Google, OpenAI, and Anthropic at the model tier, it needs a headline result, benchmarks, evaluations, or capabilities that feel unmistakably next-gen. In the meantime, expect Meta to lean harder on product-level wins, assistance, advertising tools, and glasses upgrades, while the core model bakes a bit longer. Before we continue, here's a quick message from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Family GPT, the AI chat platform actually designed for kids. If your children are curious about ChatGPT, but you're worried about what they might see, Family GPT gives you full parental controls, content filtering, and the ability to align responses with your family's values, whether Christian, Muslim, Jewish, secular, and many more. Monitor every conversation, set usage limits, and let your kids explore AI safely. No ads, no data selling, complete privacy. Sign up free at familygpt.chat. That's FAMILYGPT.chat.
All right, let's get back to it. Story 4. The latest cyberfront tied to the broader Middle East conflict. Stryker, the more than $100 billion medtech giant known for surgical robots and devices, disclosed a significant cyber incident that took parts of its global network offline. Employees described a standstill as company devices stopped working. An Iran-linked group calling itself Handala claimed responsibility. Stryker's filings say core medical products remain safe to use. The company said the disruption appears contained to its internal Microsoft environment, though it's still assessing operational and financial impact. Two things to watch: whether attackers exfiltrated sensitive data at scale, and how quickly Stryker can fully restore global operations. Healthcare manufacturing environments are deeply intertwined with regulated quality systems, so prolonged outages can ripple into supply chains. We've seen a rise in geopolitically tied intrusion activity targeting critical industries: healthcare, energy, and telecom. Stryker's case shows how, even when clinical devices remain safe, enterprise IT downtime can grind business processes to a halt. Expect regulators and insurers to probe incident response timelines and segmentation practices, while boards revisit tabletop exercises for cross-border operations. And Story 5, a practical AI upgrade you'll actually feel in daily use. Anthropic rolled out a new capability in Claude that can auto-generate visuals, charts, diagrams, and other contextual images in line during a conversation or on demand when you ask. Think of a chat about the periodic table that spawns a clickable visualization, or an architecture Q&A that produces a structural load diagram. It's on by default and complements Claude's artifacts side panel with a key distinction. Artifacts persist, while these inline visuals can evolve or disappear as your chat progresses. It's part of a broader trend. OpenAI and Google have been layering interactive visuals into assistants as the baseline moves from text-only answers to multimodal, more manipulable explanations. This matters because the next leg of assistant adoption likely won't hinge on raw benchmark bragging rights. It'll hinge on whether the AI can represent information in the form you need at the moment you need it. If Claude can reduce the steps between question, reasoning, and a legible visual, that's time saved. And for teams, that's closer to actual productivity. Quick recap: GFiber and Astound plan to combine under Stonepeak's majority stake, with Alphabet staying invested and closing targeted for the fourth quarter of 2026. Watch your local fiber map. Adobe kicks off a CEO transition after 18 years, as investors pressure it to turn AI features into durable growth. Meta's Avocado seems delayed to at least May, a reminder that frontier AI is hard, even with huge spend. Stryker battles through a disruptive Iran-linked cyberattack. And Anthropic makes Claude more useful by turning ideas into diagrams on the fly. That's your AI News in 10 for Friday, March 13th, 2026. Thanks for listening, and a quick disclaimer: this podcast was generated and curated by AI using my and my kids' cloned voices. If you want to know how I do it or want to do something similar, reach out to me at emad@ainewsin10.com. That's AInewsin10.com. See you all tomorrow.